everyone, my name is Nicole Cheney and I have a degree in child nutrition, and this is this week's nutrition class. So we're going to go over weaning of 6 to 12 months old babies. Okay, this is when you start introducing food, okay? And we're going to kind of go over the weaning process and how to ensure good healthy eating habits, okay? Because healthy eating habits in children are developed super young, okay? So you don't want to go giving them some sugary, not so nutritious food right off the bat. We want to hone in and get them some good nutrition so they later on in life have great habits. Starting off with your baby, okay? So the most common one is rice cereal and breast milk. And you kind of mix it together and you create this very smooth texture food. And what you do is you just take a little spoonful and you put it into the baby's mouth. Now, it's very common for babies to automatically, with the first spoonful, spit the food back out, okay? That is perfectly normal. That's their normal gag reflex. They're not used to actually eating yet, okay? So it's okay, just have time. They want to get used to the texture in their mouth and all that stuff before they really start eating, okay? So if it's your child spits it out, it's okay. It's all right. It doesn't exactly mean that it doesn't like the food. It's just their normal gag reflex, okay? Now, after kind of trying the rice cereal and the breast milk, pureed fruits and vegetables are the next step, right? So what you kind of want to start off with is root vegetables, okay? Root vegetables mashed up into puree. So that is like your sweet potatoes, turnips, carrots, that sort of thing. Starting off like that is great, okay? They hold a ton of nutrients and they're nice and smooth when you puree them up. So it's great starting food, okay? Now with fruits, you want to start off with the less sugary fruits, so then your baby doesn't get a taste of sugar and just kind of like want sugar, okay? So we'll kind of go into what foods you can kind of start off with, but a good one is like pears or apples. They don't have as much fruit as, let's say, they don't have as much sugar as, let's say, mangoes and stuff like that. A lot of the tropical fruits, even oranges, have a lot more sugar than an apple and a pear, okay? So you also want to slowly start introducing iron-rich foods. And you kind of don't want to decrease the milk until you do, because babies need the iron for brain development, okay? So it's their natural stores of iron begin to decrease at 6 months of life, okay? So it's essential for iron-rich foods being included in the weaning diet, okay? And then, so that's like dark leafy greens, okay? Eggs are a great thing, but if there's an allergy of eggs in the family, that is something that you want to kind of be very mindful and watch when you try it out. For me, my girls, they actually hated eggs. They would not eat eggs when they were younger, but now they love eggs. They have omelets every morning, okay? So just start with the dark leafy greens, okay? And then you can also, because chicken's a good meat to start off with, so some of the dark meat in the chicken is a great source of iron as well, okay? Higher protein foods, okay? Now this is where my girls just thrive. They love this stuff. This is like chickpeas, lentils, kidney beans. This is the protein that they preferred when they were young and still prefer now rather than meats, okay? Because the meat has that texture and it can be very hard to chew if it's not pureed up when you you puree it up, right? But they don't like the chewing aspect of it. Like pork, they hate it unless it's bacon. Chicken, it has to have a breading on it. We make a homemade sugar-free breading for them. And it's just, they don't really like meat. The ham's not that great. They don't really like ham. So they stick with chickpeas, lentils, kidney beans. They love that stuff. And what we do, especially with the chickpeas, is we buy it all dehydrated or we grow it in our garden. If it's dehydrated, we hydrate it overnight. And then what we do is we boil it for just a couple minutes, and then we sprinkle some seasoning on it and we bake it in the oven. So then they actually have like little chickpeas that they can just munch on whenever they want to, and they love it. So that's a great source for protein is chickpeas. So we introduced the lentils, the kidney beans, and the chickpeas at about 8 to 10 months. Okay, that's when we started introducing that because because they're so high in fiber, it could actually cause the baby to have a little bit of tummy issues if you do it a little bit before that. So right at 6 months, don't try the chickpeas, lentils, and kidney beans. Try and wait till about the 8 to 10 month mark to kind of introduce that great source of protein. Okay. So the next one is fatty acid rich foods you want to add to their diet. Okay. So fatty acids support the brain development, eye development, and nervous system development. Okay. The best source of omega-3 is oily fish such as trout, herring, or salmon. Okay. But like another fatty omega acid rich food is dark leafy greens. So if you start with dark leafy greens, you got your iron, you got your omega-3s, that is great. But okay, note to introduce fish into the diet of weaning. Okay, just note this. Okay, when you first introduce fish, start by selecting only white fish. Okay, so this is like haddock, cod, sole, as it's more easier to digest and lower on the like allergen list than like the really oily fish. So if you really want to start introducing fish into your child's diet, start with the white ones, okay? And then if they're okay with the white ones, they don't have any reaction or anything like that, then you can start going to like the salmon, okay, the trout, the herring, all the stuff that's got like the really good omega-3s in it, okay? So the next one is we're going to talk about foods to avoid when you're weaning your child, the first years of the child life, okay? And the first one is honey. You want to avoid that because honey contains bacteria, which can lead your child to be seriously ill, okay? Another one is cow's milk, okay? And this one is very not like, some people do this. Some people give cow's milk to their babies before they hit the 1 month mark. I mean, the 1 year mark. And babies under age 1 have difficulty time digesting cow's milk. Okay, so like stick with the breast milk and formula for the first year of their life. Okay, salt. Okay, is another one. Salt can have really bad effects on the baby's immature kidneys and blood pressure in the long term. So you want to not give them salt for the first year of their life, okay? Unpasteurized or soft cheeses. They contain bacteria, right, that their stomach's just not ready for. Another one is soft-boiled eggs. Again, uncooked eggs can cause illness in babies. You want like the scrambled eggs if you start introducing eggs, like eggs that are really cooked up. Okay, because they have bacteria in them, and you just want your food cooked if you give it to your child. Okay. Another one is whole or chopped nuts. These should be avoided under 5 years of age due to the risk of choking. So if you do want to introduce nuts to your child at a young age, wait to the year mark and then use nut butter. So peanut butter, almond butter, that sort of thing to kind of get them introduced to the nuts. And also because there's huge allergens out and about, right? You do want to introduce them to it early to prevent the allergen, but also to see if they're like, they can still be allergic to it, right? And you still want to do it in a controlled environment young, okay? Because the longer you actually introduce a food to your child, the more likely they become allergic to it. So if your child's never had peanut butter before and they're 5 years old, I wouldn't all of a sudden give them a spoon of peanut butter or something that may contain nuts, because they could actually have an allergy to a nut because you never introduced it to them at a young age, okay? So processed meats also should be avoided in the first year, and that's because processed meats have a high containment of salt, and salt you want to avoid for the first year, okay? So let's kind of get into creating good nutritional habits for your 6 to 8 month old and then your 9 to 12 month old, okay? So at 6 to 8 months, you want breast milk or formula should be continued to be offered, okay? You want to include iron-rich foods at least twice a day. So examples, you want well-cooked, finely ground meat, poultry, fish, such as beef, lamb, chicken, turkey, cod, or halibut, okay? You want mashed cooked eggs, so scrambled eggs. You can have cooked tofu if you're vegetarian or vegan, okay? And then you can have the fortified iron infant cereal, okay? Babies should be eating approximately 2 meals with solid food per day, along with 1 or 2 snacks with finger food, okay? So you really want to start introducing the foods to them. Water can be introduced with only a few sips. Now, water is gradually introduced, and it's because you still want the baby to focus on the formula or the milk, so you gradually introduce the water to it, okay? So at 9 to 12 months, you want breast milk or formula should still be offered, of course, for the first year of their life, okay? And then babies should be eating approximately 3 meals of solid food per day, along with 2 or 3 snacks with finger foods, okay? Gaps in between eating should be no longer than 3 hours, because they got tiny stomachs and you want them to keep having energy because they're going to start being mobile at this point. So you want to make sure they have food regularly in their tummies, okay? Foods high in iron should continue to be offered 2 or more times every day. So this can now start being the lentils, the beans, and legumes, okay? So you can start introducing that now into your baby's diet. Babies can be introduced to milk products such as yogurt, cottage cheese, and other pasteurized cheeses at the 9 to 12 month mark, okay? That's when they can start. Babies should not be given juice. Instead of water should be offered. So you should not be giving juice at all to your child within the first year of his life, because again, you want to create good, healthy habits. So if your child's used to having sugar, it's going to want sugar later on in its life, and that is just how the healthy habits develop. You want to start young, so it's just a habit. It just kind of like comes natural to them that they want to grab something healthy rather than something that's not so healthy. And it's not to say that they can't have little treats here and there. It's just to say that you want the majority of what they're eating to be amazingly good with nutrition, okay? So some nutritious finger foods, okay? We're gonna kind of go into that because I've said, snacks or finger foods 2 to 3 times a day, right? So let's go into kind of like what some of them are. So this is like raw sticks of cucumber you can have, okay? Soft sticks of vegetables, carrots, turnips, and beans. And this is like steamed vegetables or a little bit boiled vegetables. You want them to be a little bit soft for them because they got little teethies, right? You want softly cooked cauliflower, broccoli, so again, steamed. Soft pieces of washed and peeled fruits, so like banana, peaches, melons. You want to kind of avoid the apples and pear chunks until the baby's at least 9 to 12 months old, okay? Because they can choke. So when you're introducing apples and pears, you want to be pureed until the 9 to 12 month mark, okay? Sticks of firm cheese, so like cheddar cheese is a great cheese to start off with. Small strips of bread or toast. Now, this could have like an avocado spread on it or a hummus spread on it, okay? When you kind of introduce it to them. And then a small slice of pita bread is a great thing to start off with. And then also well-cooked pasta noodles. So you want them to be really, really cooked up. Okay, so that's just kind of like some of the stuff that you can kind of like get in your head to start feeding your child between the 6 to 12 month mark of their life. And that's our video for today. I'm super excited to go on to the next one. The next one, we are going to be going through the toddler diet. So this is 1 to 5. This is like the most, it is one of the critical areas in a child's development of healthy habits is the 1 to 5 year mark. The 6 to 12 month is you're slowly introducing the foods. You're kind of getting a feel of what your kid likes, doesn't like. You're trying to keep the sugar content lower. And this is really when they start developing their eating habits for the rest of their life is really here. Okay, you kind of build the foundation at the 6 to 12 month mark, but the 1 to 5 years is when it really blossoms and it just stays with them for the rest of their life. So I'm super excited to kind of dive into it because I stuck with this with my children, and they now, when they ask for a snack, they're like, oh, can I have an orange? Can I have an apple? It's never, can I have a cookie? Or can I have some chips? Or can I have a chocolate bar? They actually generally just don't want that. And when they do want it, they just want, like, they want to split the chocolate bar. Like, they never have a full chocolate bar. And it's awesome, and it's because I've instilled these habits, and I would love to do that for your children too. So tune in for next time. I cannot wait, and I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Bye.